Hello? Hold on. Wait. Uh, I forgot to feed my Snorlax lunch. But it's not my fault. Because I literally opened the game. I forgot that there was maintenance today in Pokemon Sleep. Okay. Only gonna play for a couple hours. Or a few hours, I guess. So like around midnight or so. Because I have to leave. Not like that much earlier tomorrow, but a little bit. And I want to take a shower and all that. I could take a shower this morning, but I forgot to put on deodorant. And so by the end of the day, like even now, I got the BO smell. If I would have put on deodorant, I wouldn't stink, and so I would have not taken a shower tomorrow. Still would have washed my face and stuff, but like usually, I think I talked about this either last stream or the stream before. This, I can't tell, like the waterfall noises are like cracking up, breaking up. Can't tell if it, oh wait, hold on, let me check. Okay, I was like, I didn't even check audio this morning, or this morning, just now. Make sure my mic is working. Anyway, usually, if I'm not taking a shower, I'll wash my face and dry my face with like a paper towel or paper towels or whatever. Because my towels, I guess I should get a rag or something. But like the whatever I use to dry my face off, I like wipe down my neck and shoulders and behind my ears and stuff like that, just to like get the oils off, or at least some of them. Because I feel like that's usually like the oil for my hair is what ends up making me stink, I think. I don't know. But yeah, if I'm gonna be lazy and not take a shower, I try to at least do something to be considerate to the people that I'm being inconsiderate to by not bathing. Anyway, enough about my stink. I was gonna stream last night, but I don't remember what run was running at oh no. Well, okay, there was two things. One, I watched a bunch of From that show. Watched like 3 more episodes. And I watched them with my mom, and so when we finished, it was like 8:30, and then I went back to my room, and I can't remember if it was ESA or if it was Maxi Lobes, but someone was speedrunning, so I know he was speedrunning Fear 2, and I ended up watching that. But I think whatever was being ran at ESA was also something that I was like, oh, I want to watch this, and then I ended up watching for too long and was like, oh, well, now it's kind of too late to stream, and I also want to like just chill and veg out tonight. And so I did. But whatever. Anyway, what's up, Xenon? How are you? I was just talking about why I didn't stream last night. I was planning to, but then things happened, and I was like, I just didn't. And I'm probably not gonna. Well, I don't think I'm gonna stream tomorrow night, because that's what I'm having dinner with my brother. He's in town. It was annoying though, because earlier today, like we were planning on having dinner with him tomorrow, and then earlier today at work, my mom was like, he's coming over tonight, so we're not gonna have dinner tomorrow night. And I was like, all right, cool, that's perfect, because like he'll come over tonight. I might not stream tonight, but then tomorrow night at least I will, and I know I don't have to. I know I don't have to give up that night. I'm good. I was trying to think of something to complain about, but I'm good. I'm pretty good. There's nothing. Work was pretty nice today. I was gonna complain about work, but not really complain, just but be like, I don't know. work is busy, but that was Friday, dude. Thursday and Friday were so busy. But then today was like very calm. Oh, that's what I was gonna complain about. Well, I mean, it's nothing to really complain about. I started talking about Pokemon Sleep at the beginning, and then, dude, I can't tell if the audio is like breaking up just because of my headset or it's the game. No. Oh, but whatever. Yeah, Pokemon Sleep. They had maintenance today, and I feed Snorlax before I leave work at 5. Like, I get out at 5, and so like I'm trying to make the schedule. I feed him before I drive, like before I head home, and I literally opened the app at like 4:59 without thinking about maintenance, and was like checking on my Pokemon. And then before I got to feed Snorlax, it went to maintenance and kicked me out. And I was like, oh, well, my Snorlax is going to starve. But I fed him dinner at least. I think it's weird that there's no, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too used to other mobile games or gacha games at least. But there's no compensation for maintenance. Also, I figured, I took a nap from like 7 to 9:15ish or whatever. And I recorded my sleep with Pokemon Sleep, and because there was maintenance, it was like stored offline. And then when I got into the game after updating it, hold on, let me finish talking to these people. Okay. After updating the game and opening it back up, it pulled up my sleep session and was like, "Oh, you have a stored session. Do you want to review it?" And I was like, "Yes." And it just does everything automatically, which kind of sucks. Because I thought I was gonna like do it like normal, where it's like, "Oh, here's all the Pokemon, and you get to feed, the ones you want." But it was random, or well, it did it all for me. And it fed. It fed the right Pokemon, so I got Mac the Wildwood. I saw someone said this name. Oh, that's where we're going. I don't know if it's supposed to be like Macna, and the name just got What? Oh, that's my headset. Okay, it is my headset, like just like breaking up. Why is that happening? All my peripherals just restarted because it like disconnected and reconnected. Anyway, the reviewing my sleep. It's like, oh, here's what sleep styles and what Pokemon showed up, and then it said it fed a biscuit to Slakoth, which I was like, out of the Pokemon that showed up, I would have gave it to Slakoth or Pikachu, but I already have a Pikachu, so I probably would have gave it to Slakoth. So they did it right, but because it was like randomly given out, I was kind of annoyed.
Do we have any snacks?
Because I was thinking, well, I wanted to see how it worked anyway, but I was still like, I don't know. They still could have ran it like normal. I don't know. It tracked my sleep like normal, and it's not like I didn't even like I woke up, tracked like ended the sleep thing, the tracking, and then wait, do I not have? Why is this one I haven't? Oh, I think these ones come with quests. I guess I'll do this one then.
Hey, so
I mean, I'm gonna do all of them, but this one first. Oh, but yeah, whatever. Like, I tracked my sleep and then immediately opened the game, so it's not like I don't know. If they didn't make me update, it should have been like normal. Also, yeah, like I was saying, it's weird that there's no compensation. They literally took the game down for like 3 hours, so people who were sleeping during that time, or people who didn't get to feed their Snorlax like me, just get ripped off, and they don't like. There's no like, oh, here's like 20 diamonds, which is like nothing. Also, well, I'm not gonna show it, but I have this like um little piece of paper, the slip from the post office. I think I talked about it Saturday night. Because they tried to deliver my power figure and nobody was here on Friday or Thursday or Friday. So they left a slip, and then I went on Saturday, but they were closed because for some reason they closed 2 hours earlier than what the slip says and what the website says. And so I rescheduled a delivery for today, and then they didn't re-deliver. Like, I checked like 3 times on the website at different points during the day to see like, did they re-deliver and did someone get it? Because there's 4 people here, so someone would have heard, or like got the door. But it just kept saying, hold on, I'm gonna go look actually, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing out there. Unless they put it somewhere else, but this reschedule thing on the website, it just says like rescheduled for delivery today, and then that's it. It doesn't say like delivered or attempted, but it shows like it said attempted on the 21st or whatever the first time was. So I assume it would update if they actually attempted, but I don't know. If anything, I'll just pick it up on Friday, as long as they don't do something stupid and try to deliver it on Friday before I can go pick it up, because I'll stop by in the morning. But anyway, it makes me hate the post office. That's like I'm like, man, they should just deliver everything, by everything else, because I've never had problems with UPS, FedEx, Amazon, like any of those other places. But it's always a post office that's like, hey, we tried to deliver and no one was here, so we took it back to the post office, and our hours are really stupid, so you can't pick it up reasonably. Anyway, I like Tyranny of the Flames, or Tyranny of the Flame Clock. Oh, wait, okay, so... Okay, I thought about this earlier, but I thought being free for the flame clock meant they don't have to... Like, they're not gonna die anymore. Or there's no time limit. But it just means they don't have to keep the stupid flame going. Living the good life now that you don't have to keep your flame burning. Why are all the off-seers disappearing?
Let's have a little huddle up.
So they're trying to figure out how to, help out after destroying everything. And Lance is like, it's not like we can build them a canteen. And Tyon's like, that's a good idea. And he's like, all right, what, you want me to do it all by myself? I love these guys, man. I keep saying it, but like I don't. Like I really really like the cast. Well, most of the cast of 2, and I like the cast of 1 a lot. But this cast is so much. I don't know. I love them all so much more
We have to keep track of our progress.
than the first 2 games.
Let's move out.
Like I'm surprised at how much more I like this crew than the first 2, because I like the first 2 crews a lot. That like I don't know. I guess like my point is, I like the other crews a lot, and so these crews, like this crew, is just so much better. Like I don't know. It's like wow. You know, it's like if you were like, wow, this game is a 10 out of 10, and then you play the next one, you're like, wow, this game is actually a 10 out of 10. So it makes those. I mean, it doesn't really make the other ones look worse, but you're like, I didn't know that things could be this good. I thought what I had was good. This guy kind of sucks. I think Uni having that class is like, she has a little cape. I feel like it fits her pretty well. I was about to say, this guy, they're like, all right, who do we talk to help you? And he's like, this person, this person, this person, this person. And I was gonna say, dude, I gotta talk to so many people, and then Uni said it for me. Let me change quests, because this one's like right here, I think. I still haven't seen an Eevee again in Pokemon Sleep. I was talking about it before, but I got an Eevee in the tutorial. I don't know if everyone gets an Eevee in the tutorial, but got an Eevee in the tutorial and then have not seen one a single time since, which is annoying because I see all the people on my friends list getting Eevees and with Eevees as their profile picture, and I'm just like, bro, that's not fair. The moment I see an Eevee, I'm dumping all my biscuits into it. Okay. Wait. I never leveled up the what do you call it? How do I switch to the other one? Oh, I think I just have to view, yeah. Okay, where's the arts canceling? So I wonder what the fastest way. We'd have to go this way or this way. I'm not too worried about points. I mean, I should be, but I just want to make sure there's no ability in the way that it's going to be like, oh, you can't get this because you didn't unlock the other ability. I guess I should learn. Oh, well. Oh, see, if I went this way, I would have to have Radiant Ring. Oh, but I guess I could go here, 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 down, here, 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 here. But wait, where's Deadly Twister? Or do I have that by default? Yes. Okay, well that's better then. Oh, I don't have the first one.
I got a new trick up my sleeve. I got a new trick up my sleeve. I got a new trick up my
She's
sleeve.
gonna say that every time.
I got a new trick up my sleeve.
It's cute at least.
I got a new trick up my sleeve. I got a new trick up my sleeve.
Okay.
I got a new trick up my sleeve.
Now. I want to get all the arts.
I got a new trick up my sleeve. I got a new trick up my sleeve. I got a new trick up my sleeve.
Okay. Oh wait, do I have?
You found power.
Okay. I had a weird dream earlier. Now I can't remember. I literally just remembered that I had a weird dream, and I'm like, I don't remember what it was. Like that's really annoying, because like
Power, eh?
it like came into my brain as like, wow, what a weird dream I had earlier, and then I was like, what was it though? Like I remember waking up thinking, what a weird dream.
More to add to the playbook.
His grid is so weird. It's all like crisscrossed, and I don't know, it's kind of nice though, because things it's, well, okay, maybe not everywhere, but there's a lot of like points, and then you can go two ways. Oh, I guess it's not even really like that, because they like the lines cross, but they don't connect. Whatever. Grand Priest. That's the one we... No, that's all the way over here. So that's 75. Spirit Raven. Okay, so if I go this way... But I have to go here, 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 here. Okay.
More to add to the playbook. 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 More to add to the playbook.
Perfect.
More to add to the playbook.
And then... I guess I go here, and then I can get both arts
More to add to
later.
the playbook.
He already has... Yeah.
Whoa, new power.
Oh, hers is just like straight down. What is this? Hellbound.
Whoa, new power. Whoa, new power. Whoa, new power.
The way she says whoa.
New power. Whoa, new power.
It's like...
Whoa, new power.
It's not like a voice crack. I mean, it's kind of like a voice crack.
Whoa, new power.
It's cute.
Whoa, new power.
Okay.
Whoa, new power. Whoa, new power.
So he has all the arts. We just need to get the canceling. She has all the... Wait. Yeah, she has all her arts and the canceling. She has everything. Well, all arts and canceling. He... Oh, wait. Oh, wait. No, she doesn't have all her arts. We're missing one. And Mio's missing this one. Okay, whatever. Oh, I guess I should look at what I got for everybody. Oh, well, dude. Okay, so I've talked about my job and like the kind of atmosphere. It's apple juice. It's not beer. I like apple juice. Anyway, kind of like how laid back everyone is about everything, and it's kind of like it's cool, but it's also like weird. One thing today, like I've talked about, I've been doing this printer inventory thing. While I was doing this printer inventory, and the guy who had me doing the printer inventory was like, "Hey, do it again, but find more information for these, you know, other contractors." And it's like, okay, it wasn't that much more work, but it was just like a little bit more tedium because I had to like transfer everything over that I had already done and then get more stuff. But anyway, there was a printer on my list that I was like, wait, I can't connect to this printer. And so I went to the person's office and I was like, the printer's just like sitting on the desk disconnected. Why? And then I emailed him asking like, or yeah, I was just like, hey, you know, I'm doing a printer inventory and I saw that your printer is just sitting on your desk unplugged. Is there something wrong with it? Because I hadn't, like, it must have happened before I got there. But he replied saying like, there's nothing wrong with it. We just moved it when we were adding my third monitor and just never hooked it back up. And I was like, well, and then he was like, in the same email, he was like, if you get a chance, could you take a look at it and make sure it's still good and set it up for me? And I was like, okay. And then I went and set it up. But I was just like, I've been here for a month and a half. And so that guy's been without a printer for a month and a half and just never said anything or never, I don't know, put in a ticket or anything like that. But that's like a lot of people here are the same way, where they're just like, something goes wrong and they just don't say anything or do anything and just like let it sit there. Like some other lady had another printer issue where her printer hadn't been working for 2 months, and then she finally said something about it, and I told the contractor I was working with, and he's like, 2 months and she didn't say anything? And he's like, see, this is the thing that, like, he said, gets my goat. I've heard people say that before, but I've never heard someone, I've heard it in like TV and movies and stuff like that, but I've never heard someone say it in real life. But anyway, he said it and was like, these people, they like sit on problems and then they bring them all up. Like they sit on issues and then dump them all on you at once. And he's like, luckily she's only got this one problem, but usually what happens is you're walking in the hallway and you run into someone, or you happen to be working on something for them and they're like, oh, by the way, I have this issue and this issue and this issue and this issue. And it's like real annoying. And I was like, dude, I can already see it. And then the same thing happened on Friday. I think I talked about it on Saturday, but I talked to my manager and like it was just like a review of like how I felt about the job and all that stuff, and what getting my thoughts on things and whatever, and also just like talking about what she's been seeing and hearing about my work, all good things. But she was like, at the end of our little session, she was like, okay, now I have some IT stuff that I need help with. And it was just like, she had like 3 different issues, or like 3 or 4 different issues that she was just like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. And I'm like, fixed, and I'll take a look at that. Because like, it was all easy stuff that I was like, she's just been sitting on this for at least a week without saying anything. And it just decided to like save it all up to dump on me all at once. And I'm like, bro, just tell me. Most of the day I'm sitting there waiting for someone to be like, hey, I need help with something. Like I'm like working on something, but I'm not like busy. Like I'm not, I can't, it's not like I can't get up or something. Anyway, let me look at my abilities. Just a little bit of eventing. I feel like these like inflicts break. I mean, they seem kind of busted because it's like, okay, yeah, it's an AoE break or days or whatever. But to like, I mean, maybe it gets better later on. There's like you can builds your interlink faster or something, but it seems like just so much work to do that. Like everything will die before you can even get interlink level 3. But maybe it's for bosses and stuff like that. Oh wait, that unison strike, I don't like that one. Maybe it's better now. I don't know. I'll leave it like that. Maybe not. Maybe I glorious wing and then, well, no, because that doesn't give me any of my meter for my talent. Oh, okay. So she has break on all enemies when interlink is at level 3. She also has the daze one though. So we still need a topple. I'm sure someone has a topple somewhere. But, wait a minute. I wonder how it works. If you have interlink level 3 and then you switch. So if I do the break, if I do Phantom Slash with Noah and then switch to her after someone else does the topple. Oh, she has a daze too. Maybe I just make them both break. Whoops. Burst. Okay, maybe that plan isn't gonna work. I was gonna say maybe so we have like Noah Mio break, tie on Uni, you know, whatever, and then lands, send a topple. Yeah, they're kind of all mixed. Well, he has a topple. I'll give them both. Wait. This one's... Oh, physical and ether. I was gonna say, this is a single target blowdown for with a 230% multiplier. This one's AoE 325%, but it's also upgraded. So maybe this, when it's upgraded, will be a little bit stronger. But it has a physical defense down debuff and the blowdown. So for now, I am gonna switch to this. But it is like ether versus physical. I don't know how much of a difference that'll make on Senna. Whatever, anyway. Nothing to touching skills. Alright, accessories.
Looks like we're all done. Looks like we're all done. We got it all as requested. We got it all as requested. We got it all as requested.
Oh,
We got it all as requested.
I want to play,
Looks like we're all done.
what do you call it? Fuga 2? I don't know if it's
We got it all.
has a
as
different
requested.
title. Hold on. Because Fuga 1 is Fuga Melodies of Steel. I don't know if 2 is like something of some. Oh, it's Melodies of Steel 2. Like seeing that I don't even know how you say it. It's French, I assume. The Mille Fuel Rock. I don't know, it's like Fuel or something. I don't know.
I hope it made them happy.
Whatever. There's I don't remember who. I think it's. Whose last name is it? A lot of the kids in that game, their last names are like a dessert or something like that. What? Oh, it was like a quest I had already done all the way at the bottom. Oh, right. I wanted to... Oh, I kind of want to switch to that. Oh, is it Uni? Who is it? Tyon's the only one who has it, but he's tanking right now. He's almost done, but... I need more... Do we have any DPS that he hasn't touched yet? No. We can make Senna a Yum Smith.
You line him up, I'll knock him down.
Her outfit, very cute. Now I want to see everyone wearing this. Dang it, I want everyone to wear it. Alright. That's enough maintenance.
We have to keep track of our progress.
22 minutes in the menu. What is this?
Feels good, doesn't it?
Someone's supposed to be here. There's like an acorn. It's probably a Nopon. Her little hat. Wait. It's too small. Like it... I get that it's supposed to be too small. But it looks like it just doesn't... Oh, I guess I can switch to her. I was trying to like look at it. But she kept running away from me. It's cute.
I'll take point.
Who is he calling Sunshine? Okay. Oh, I guess I'll talk about my car. I like my new car a lot. This morning I was having trouble figuring out how to work the air conditioner. Hold on. Why is everyone we're talking to is like, yeah, you're good to go to make a new canteen, but there's something in the way. And then we're like, what's in the way? And they're like, I don't know, red tape. And they won't like explain. Anyway, yeah, like my air conditioner. So like I took a shower this morning, washed my hair and all that. And usually like my hair's wet. So, I mean, obviously it's wet after a shower, but on the way to work, I use my car's air conditioner to try and help dry it out. Both with like hot air and cold air, just depending on how hot or cold it is in the morning. Because sometimes, even though it's the summer, some mornings are cold, and so when I get in my car, I'm like using warm air, and then I'll get too hot, so I'll switch to cold air. But then some mornings it's hot already, and so I just cold air from the start. Like, it doesn't really, I don't really care what kind of air, but it's just like I have it kind of blowing on my hair to like try and dry it. But this morning I had cold air, and then I started to get cold, so I tried to switch to warm air, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. And then I realized there's like 3 buttons. One of them is like for like heating the front of your car, like the front, like the windshield and all that stuff. Then one of them is so it's like that. Then there's a little snowflake button that's for cold air, and then there's a hot air button. And so I was like changing the temperature. I had to like turn it all the way up to 85, but it wasn't getting hotter. I was like turning all kinds of knobs and things, and nothing was working. And then I was like, what if I hit this button? And I was like, oh, that was it. I just had to hit the button. But that was like 40 minutes into the drive, so I like had warm air for like 5 minutes. This guy sucks. Anyway, I don't know. Like, that's not a reason to not like my car, but I was like, man, my old car was so much like there's no, you turn the knob to hot or cold, and then that's what happens. This car, it's like you can turn the temperature all the way up to like it has 2 separate controls for like the passenger and the driver to adjust their temperatures, but it doesn't actually take effect if you don't hit the button that is like hot or cold air, which is like, it seems kind of pointless to have like a thermometer, like a temperature control, if you can't get hot air anyway if you don't hit the hot air button. And you can't get cold air if you don't hit the cold air button. So you'll have hot air, the hot air button hit, and you'll turn it down to 60 degrees, and it'll still be like 80 something degrees. Anyway, now that I have it figured out, it's like, shouldn't be a big deal unless I just forget. Like, I'm sure it'll happen where I get in and I'm trying to adjust my temperatures and I sit there for a second wondering, because the same thing happened in my old car where like I would get in and turn on the air conditioner, and I'm like, why is it not getting cold? Like it's cold, it's cool, but it's not getting cold. And I just kind of like deal with it for a second, waiting for it to cool down, like get colder, thinking like maybe I need to take it in to get the what do they call it, like the refrigerant, what's the, not refrigerant, whatever the cold thing is. It goes in refrigerators. Hold on, the thing that makes refrigerators cold. Freon. Get my Freon recharged. But yeah, like sit there like wondering like, why is it not getting cold? Do I need to get the Freon recharged? It's turned down all the way. The, you know, fan is blasting at the highest it can. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't hit the AC button. Like the AC button was turned off somehow. I must have accidentally hit it or something. And then it'll get cold instantly. So I can see that happening where I'm like, man, it is cold, let me turn on the hot air. And then again, it's like, why is it's not getting hot? And then I wonder, is it broken? And then I just think like, oh, let me just hit the button. Excuse me. I have like a hiccup trying to come through, like a burp that's like trying to like hiccup, make me hiccup. Just trying to resist it. Okay. That was kind of pointless. That guy was like, hey, if you want to build a canteen, go get approval from everyone. And everyone was like, yeah, you got my approval. You got to go get approval from that guy. And then it's like, hey, we got to get approval from you. And he's like, well, you got to go get approval from the commander. And then the commander's like, yeah, go for it. And then come back to that guy and he's like, yeah, sorry about that. You know, it's just how things work. You got to get approval. And it's like, nobody there. We didn't get any approval. Everyone was like, go get that other guy's approval. It's not up to me.
Oh, so that's how they're doing.
Oh. Lambda Trader Pawn.
What should we get?
Condiment nut. Mini onion. Stupid. Oh, mini onion. Mini onion. I read it as minion yen. Like minion onion. Minion yen. Minion yen. Okay, well at least we got this now. So we can eat their food and then Manana can learn how to cook it.
Let's rest and heal up.
1,000? I have so much money. I've literally not spent any of it.
Thanks ever so much.
Squishy fishy
Hey,
grill
Manana,
wrap.
this one's for you. Let's have a little.
Oh, this has a
headbutt.
quest too. If we bring what's his name? The kid.
Ugh. Let's be off.
Baldy.
Getting dark already.
He can fix all those auto levs. How do you get over here? Behavioral test. We gotta fight them.
Oh, so that's how they're doing.
I kind of hate that, like, this quest thing in the bottom right pops up every time I get a new quest. So I have to, like, close it. It's not a big deal, but it is, like, annoying. I want to see what
I'm getting peckish.
buffs Manana gets with the that new meal. Okay, it seems like they like when I eat the meal at the place, it's 20% of something, or like a solid percentage, like just one thing, but like however much. But when she cooks it, she splits like part of it off to another stat.
If time to going, then time to going.
Time to going.
jump.
I was just thinking, oh, the ether, what do they call them? Ether cylinders, canisters? I don't know. I have to do something with those, but I haven't seen any of those Ferronuses. Like, sorry, there's like this spot on my back that's itching, and it always itches. But it only itches when I start streaming. I don't know why. Like, I'll sit here all day. I think it's because, like, I don't know. It gets hot when I start streaming, and I don't know, like my shirt getting sweaty and sticking to me makes that spot itch for some reason. Whatever. Anyway, they talked about finding those like broken down Ferronuses or whatever, and I haven't seen one outside of like the tutorial one. And I run around the maps like quite a bit. I don't know. Oh, I was like, I think this is the way to that ladder I dropped, but I was starting to doubt it. Nice. I guess I can fast travel, skip travel, but I want to fight these guys because I want to see what these question marks are. Maybe not. So there's the 439s and then a 40 that's like big. Sequoia. Never mind. Because even if I could take the like smaller guys, the big one,
This look handy dandy.
I don't think I'd be able to take that one. I feel like the way she runs with that thing on her back is not the way you would run with that thing on your back. Like swinging from side to side would just make it so hard to run because you're constantly catching it and swinging it back the other way. And turning your torso like that. It's a school night, so I'll be playing this video game anyway. Queen's Crackers. Who? Why does he's the one who's always saying weird things like that? I think he said Queen's Beans one time. Yeah, try to go to sleep well. Good night. Sleep well. I don't have to sleep for a little bit. I usually don't go to sleep till like close to 1 anyway. Like either just before or just after. Especially now that I have this Pokemon Sleep app and I set my bedtime at 1. You have to go to sleep within 30 minutes before or after to get credit. Well, not to get credit, but to get like a little bonus. Queen's Beans sounds very British. Queen's Crackers too. I guess just saying Queen. Yeah, Pokemon Sleep. It's like a dumb little sleep tracker, but Pokemon themed. It just came out last week, but you go to sleep and then you feed a Snorlax and little Pokemon show up and they're sleeping all around you. But it tracks your sleep, it's like a sleep tracker, like those other health apps that track your sleep. but Pokemon. You sheep will do anything Pokemon branded. Correct. That's what I was saying when I started playing it. I was like, I've never used the sleep app before. I've seen them plenty of times, but I've never ever like been like, I want to track my sleep. But then Pokemon is like, hey, we got one too. And it's like, okay, now I want to track my sleep. And I tracked it last week for like 5 days or something. And it said on average I sleep 5.5 hours. Which I was like, see? Everyone's like, dude, you sleep too much. You sleep all the time. But it's like, bro, I sleep 5.5 hours on average. It's not a lot. Sleep apnea. Slight sleep apnea. It actually, so you can set it to record like sounds while you sleep, like record noises, like the mic will turn on. And so some people have been finding out that they snore or they talk in their sleep or whatever. This one guy uploaded like on Twitter, he like posted, he was like, he's like, I can't remember what he said, but he's basically, he played all the noises that it recorded of him and they were all just farts. Like every single one of them, like it recorded a fart. 10 Cent will find out. I don't know. The developer of the game is, they're called Select Button. It's the Pokemon Company and Select Button. So I don't know where Select Button comes from, who owns them or whatever. But I don't think 10 Cent or anyone other than Nintendo is involved in this. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. But it's cute. I don't know. It also has like a, well, okay, so this is, oh, that's what I was gonna say, is like Beijing Biden. It's a Japanese company. Actually, I don't know if the Pokemon Company is Japanese though. Hold on. Okay, it is a Japanese company. Because I know they have like the Pokemon, they have TPCI, which is the Pokemon Company International. But I guess the Pokemon Company itself is Japanese. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, they have the microtransactions are kind of stupid. Like, there's nothing really worth buying. Like, looking at it, it's like, wow, like, there's nothing really worth buying, and it's also expensive. And then they have like a monthly pass, which is $10 a month or $50 for 6 months, which is expensive. Like, I was like, bro, but you get a 2-week free trial, and so I like bought it. Like, you buy it and you get 2 weeks, and then at the end of the 2 weeks it'll charge you. But I've only played for 6 days. I think tomorrow is day 7 or something. But it comes with the premium version. You get a diary. You can like take notes on the night and your sleep and all that stuff. And I've already used it to record. Well, I've only recorded one dream. I was gonna record another dream earlier today, but I forgot. But I've been using it as a dream diary, or I'm going to keep using it as a dream diary. But then I was like, I don't want to pay $50. Well, it's $50 every 6 months, but I don't want to pay for a dream diary. So I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, but I do like having a dream diary, and it's like attached to this cute Pokemon app. So maybe, and I was like, that's how they got me. They got me. They're gonna like you're saying. It's just, I'll do anything if it's Pokemon. Take my $50 to steal my information, to track, to learn my sleep habits, and then I don't know what you would do with sleep, like someone's sleep habits or information. Because like I know these apps have existed for like ever, like helping you like monitor your sleep and stuff like that. But then I think like what would that data, like how would that data even be used to like make money off of you, basically? Because like that's always what that stuff is for. Is like, how can we use this to make money? I cut my finger the other day on the stupid like foil, like how it has like the little razor that you like tear it on. I wasn't even using it. I like reached for like my what do you call it, my T-press, and when I either was reaching for it or setting it down, but when I like either reached for it or pulled my hand back, I like slid across that and it like cut my finger. But I didn't bleed. I was like deep enough to like have like blood on the line, but it didn't like bleed. AI requires massive amounts of data, so honestly AI development, but they've been around for so long that I don't know, I feel like it'd be before, like before AI, before they would feed it into AI. Maybe they were feeding this kind of stuff into AI or collecting it for AI ahead of time or something, but you're probably right. Ew. It hurt. It itches though. Like, I mean, it doesn't itch all the time, but like every now and then I'm like, my pinky itches, and then I'll like go to scratch it, and then I'll rub against that. I'm like, oh, that's why, and then it hurts for a second. Okay. Okay, so, oh, right. Good luck with my ouchie, thanks. I was just gonna say, the Pokemon Sleep app, in the tutorial they gave me an EV and they wouldn't let me feed it, so I didn't get to catch it. And then I haven't seen an EV since, and I'm like really annoyed by that, because that's all I want. I literally, like, just give me an EV. Give me a bunch of EVs. It's annoying. I was complaining about this earlier, but yeah, it's like I see all these people on my friends list with EVs, and it's not fair. Cause I have Pikachu and Growlithe, and a bunch of ugly Pokemon like Gulpin. I have 2 Ekans though, cause I like Ekans. If I toddle my Kavesi bum. Isn't bum in British slang like not butt, but like vagina? Or am I thinking of something else? I think I'm thinking of something else. But there's like a slang word in British that is like, in English it's like butt or something like, oh, fanny. Is it fanny? I don't know, hold on. I gotta like learn English. Right, yeah. The female genitalia in Britain, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Vulgar. I like how she walks out and just stands there, and they're just like, what are you doing? Do we have to actually run from them? Oh no. They ran in sync. We're literally luring these guys to get killed by an auto lev. But then we have to kill them anyway. Okay, Noah. Why are they not? Who is he even getting aggroed by? Well, he's dead now. How did he grab aggro so hard? Like, and I didn't. So I was switching between all the targets too. So like the ones that were close to him shouldn't have even aggroed him. Tolgrim. The way she turned, she like, it's like that Pokemon Sword and Shield like clip. It's a clip of like one of the legendaries, like the box legendaries. The wolves, one of them. But they're like talking to it, and it goes to leave, and it just like rotates in place, but it does its walk animation, so it looks really stupid. And then like walks away, but she kind of did the same thing. It's getting really warm in here. I hate it. I don't want to get up. Oh, it's like, I remember I got an ether sphere at some point, but never went to, like, I unlocked one and didn't actually get it. So I kind of hate this map. I hate that they split up. Like, I have to go to this map just to, like, see this tiny little bit. It should be connected. Alright, I'm gonna go turn the air down. It's too hot. And if I don't, I have to sit here for another hour plus, and it's gonna get worse. I'll be right back.
Right, what have we got around here?
Okay. I don't think I didn't talk about this earlier, but I think I talked about it on Saturday. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Fan Gamer, like the Omori stuff, and then I went and ordered the Okami stuff too. And then I think I was talking about it though. I was like, I talked about how I thought I missed a pre-order or whatever, or thought it was a pre-order and I, like, everything was sold out. Excuse me. But then I ordered the stuff. Like, I was able to get stuff. Excuse me, man. Able to get stuff, but I didn't know when it was going to get delivered. I got the notification for it earlier, so hopefully it's soon. Because I want to start drinking tea at work. Like, I've had tea a few times, but I've been using these little paper cups. Because there's, like, mugs, but I don't know if they're anybody's mugs. I gotta ask my mom or someone. Because they're all different looking mugs. It's not like, oh, these are all from a set that, like, someone bought, you know, for the office. It's like, oh, these are, like, kind of personal looking mugs. And I don't want to just take someone's mug and drink out of it. So I've been using these little, like, paper cups that they have. But they suck. And I want to drink my own tea. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I should probably make tea here and like put it in a thermos or something and take it.
Oh, so that's how they're doing.
Because I would want to make loose leaf, and I feel like, oh. Trouble in Paradise. There's a loose hair that was like on my arm, but then it just fell off, I guess. I'm assuming this came up because I completed the one for Kitty. Because I had walked by here before and that never triggered. Okay, well this guy's got new dialogue because we helped Kitty. If by us you mean Mio. All right. I would rather walk the little bit of extra walk to get to this map than pull up the main menu and go to the full map. Wait. Oh, it's in a different region. What was the Oh, I guess it's... I was gonna say, there's like the ether thing over here, but... there's nowhere to go past this place. Oh, I can almost do this. Oh, they're both in the other region. I like this icon. Now my nose is itching like crazy. Oh, the blue archive app icon updated. Cool. I want to go open it because I'm going to do my PvP matches, but it looked different. It doesn't look that different. It's like, instead of Arona, it's, or was it Shiroko before? I don't remember. Whoever it was, it's now the, what's her name? The evil looking Arona. The Nega Arona. How am I forgetting her name?
This look handy dandy.
Oh, is there maintenance going on right now? Yes. Oh no, that's Shiroko. The or who is that? Whatever. Hmm. See, I guess this officer guy is close to his homecoming, and well, she said he's close to his homecoming, and he asked her to. I was trying to look at her face. She's Orion. She got the little like scales, but he asked her to send him off. And then she said, but then the flame clock stuff happened, and that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And it's like, wait, but I thought they still die. So would they still want to do a homecoming and all that?
Oh, so that's
We'll
how they
bring
do
him
it.
back. Make him talk to you. I kind of want. Oh no. Well, I said I kind of want to like fill out the map as I go over there, but then I looked down and I was like, well, there's no way for me to go down without dying. I could go here and walk backwards, but let me go here and walk around to that question mark. I might be able to fight the enemies there. It's the same like levels of like group of level 3940s. Okay. I guess I won't go over there either.
This look handy dandy.
Wait. Oh, right. This is where Uni had her. Found the Uni. The other Uni. It's talking about not seeing Furanaces. Like the ones you can interact with or whatever they use those ether cylinders for. Oh, what's up, Bobby? How's it going? What are they saying? Oh, the Furanas things. This place looks like it should have a Furanas, and I don't see one anywhere. Good, good. Have you been playing any Bibio games?
Don't mind if I do.
This guy looks cool. I mean, I like the look of these snake things, but I mean, he just looks like all the other ones, but he's bigger. Makes him look a little bit cooler. Refactoring the game's AI. That sounds like work. Like a lot of work. I feel like anything involving AI.
Is this like a rare thing?
You broke it. Oh god. What kind of game is it? I don't know if I've ever asked. I don't know how much you can talk about it. I don't know if it's like, what do you call it? If there's like an NDA or something. Action RPG. Cool. But like what kind? Like what's the... Did you ever link the trailer? I don't think so. Maybe, and I just forgot. I'm gonna say no. Because if there's a trailer, then that'll answer like a billion questions that I'm about to ask. Oh. Dead guy.
Be at rest.
I feel like I've seen this. Hold on, I'm gonna like click through it. I'll watch the whole thing later. I have it muted. I feel like I've seen this.
Let me just fix this.
Okay, wait. I want to watch this chunk with the combat. It's like Xenoblade. I don't know how actually close it is to Xenoblade. I'm being half sarcastic, but I see like a party and it's action RPG. This looks pretty sweet. Nier's animation to borrow ideas. I mean, it's a good game to borrow ideas from. I'll watch the full thing
Something decent, right?
later. Wait, how do you pronounce that? Ukungu? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to speak. I don't even know. I was gonna say African. I don't know. I don't know what languages they speak in. What is this? Oh. I don't know if African languages are like I'm sure there's a billion of them. Like every country has a billion languages, but I don't know if there's just like a general language that they all speak, or like a common Swahili. Oh, duh.
What's that? Cave.
Oh, nice.
Wonder what it's like inside.
I might have been in here before. No, I haven't. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch that full trailer later. I'm not gonna stream for much longer anyway. So I can listen to the audio as well. I just don't want to. I talked about it a billion times before. I don't like to
You've never been here before.
watch things and mess up my audio with my game, whatever I'm playing. Wait. How have I? Oh no, I have been. Well, I haven't been up here, but I've been down there. Oh wait. Oh good. Okay. How'd you break it? What'd you? What happened? Say you broke the AI, or
This look handy,
was it intentional? Cause that's like one thing. Like that well, not that I've done, but the contractor I work with, as he's been. Oh, I did not accept this quest. Oh, that's what I was just talking about. Like how I haven't seen these. I'm glad I went here. Trying to fix bugs. Bugs are keeping stuff working. Oh,
Itching to get wrecked.
that's kind of what I was gonna say. Is like the contractor I work with. He's been training me and teaching me. But like sometimes as he's like teaching me something, he's like walking me through it, and he's like, yeah, this is how we do it. And then he's like, oh, you know what? This is like, he'll be like, this isn't how this is supposed to look, and like he'll try to fix something as he's teaching me, and like in my brain I'm like, oh, he's trying, not like trying to show off, but he's like, oh, I don't want this guy to see the mess I have in here, so let me clean it up and use it as a training opportunity. But then he'll like just end up breaking something. Like one of the things we did was he was showing me how like we our like antivirus stuff called Cortex, and so he was showing me how Cortex works, and as he was showing me, he was like he was teaching me how to like clean like data off of the laptops and stuff that we use, so that, you know, we can repurpose them without worrying about someone recovering data and like stealing, you know, company secrets or whatever. And as he was doing that, he's like, yeah, you know, this is a program we use, and then it didn't work, and he was like, huh, that's weird. And then it didn't work because it was getting blocked by Cortex, and so he was like, oh, let me show you how Cortex works, so I can, you know, use this as a training opportunity. And then like, to me it looked like he didn't know what he was talking about, which is what I was saying earlier, is like, it seemed like he was trying to like what's the word, cover that up and like, you know, explain it away and try to pretend like he knew what he was doing. But
Don't just assume they're pushovers.
he
Yeah,
he's like, let me show you how Cortex works. And then
this'll keep me going.
he's like, yeah, all you got to do is you go in here and you whitelist, you know, you whitelist Revo uninstaller. And then he whitelisted it, and he's like, now run it. And I ran it again, and it didn't work. And he's like, huh, well, let's whitelist it again. And then we whitelisted it again. And then as he was doing it, like, Cortex was like our like dashboard was getting like flooded with all these alerts and things, because every time I ran it, it would give like 95 alerts, because it's like trying to uninstall like thousands of apps and files and things like that, like all together. But whatever, all of it, like, it just kept like getting worse and worse and worse. Like, he would get, each time would add more and more files, and the whitelist right now is just like massive. And I'm like, bro, like, I don't know. he was trying to show me something and just ended up making it worse and worse. And it was like, he could have just, like, I was like, should we just disable Cortex and run the thing? And he's like, no, because it's a good thing that it's getting caught by Cortex, because then we can whitelist it so that in the future it doesn't get caught by Cortex again. And I was just like, okay, but every time we ran it like 15 times, and there was 100 files every time, and now Cortex is just like, Cortex is breaking. So like, we're breaking things, trying to fix things, but like, it's kind of unnecessary. But I mean, I guess it's different than what you're doing, because you're like working towards something. But I've heard stories of kind of what you're talking about, where like
This isn't worth our time.
people, like developers, you know, they fix a bug and then it just like makes a million new bugs, because the bug that was there was like holding things together at least.
We're unstoppable with you around,
Oh,
Senna.
I was hoping it would start the fight.
I'm the girl with the scar.
I love when she says that.
Too easy. Come after me, and that's what you get.
If only you didn't charge off on your own.
This was a nice fight.
Don't just assume they're pushovers. Let's light these mutters up.
Start with a proto system, get AI off the ground, start to get a base. They have to beat it into listening.
Unstoppable with you around, Senna.
I'm the girl with the gall.
Dude, we got the girl with the gall twice in a row. I guess not twice in a row, but twice in rapid succession. Why won't this? Oh, right, because I have to activate the thing.
All right.
Do I do it from up here? Probably.
go.
Nice. I was hoping it would cost like at least 5 so I can get rid of some of these ether cylinders.
Hey, do we want to rest?
The game Ukungu. I'm gonna keep saying it like that. Hopefully I'm saying it right.
We'll make the most of you. This has got to be worth a bunch.
Is it so like how's like what's the team like? Like what I don't know anything about game dev. Like I've watched some documentaries, but I've never actually known someone. I guess like Akira has developed games. But like I've never talked to him about it. I've never talked to someone about it. So like I don't know. Now I'm curious. This is now an interview. No. But how did like do you know the people on the team? Like did you know them before, or is it just like they were looking for someone and you got the job? I don't want to assume, but you are black. So making a game about Africa or Africans, like it seems like, I don't know, like I would assume it's like, oh, you know, you were interested in working on it because of something like that. And not just like, I'm just looking for a job and it happened to be. Okay, currently it's you and the artist, I see. So a very small team. These things growl so loud. I don't know if you can hear it. Even when I'm this close, it stays the same volume, but like, I can hear them growling from all the way over here. Game dev meeting. Oh. You're the only programmer at the meeting. Oh, that's so interesting, because like, I feel like, well, I guess that like is also makes sense, because like, I was gonna say, like I feel like people who are looking to get into game dev are going to be programmers and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's like with anything, like people are looking to get into something, but they don't have, like they go to these things because they're looking for someone like you. Like they're looking for the person who can actually do the programming, because like it's a lot of artists or people with the idea who don't have the I don't want to say talent, but I guess who don't have the talent to actually, you know, get it together, get it going. So they have to like look for people. Artist that was on Diablo 2 was there. Also worked on Grim Dawn. That's cool. That's real cool. I didn't know someone like that would be so local. But I guess that's, I mean, in California, makes sense. There's like probably a lot of dudes like that, especially, well, maybe not especially from Blizzard, but I feel like Blizzard, Activision, like those studios are so big that those, like, the people working at them are probably all over the state.
Something so valuable here.
He was randomly sitting next to you handing out sodas or something.
You know what Noah thinks.
We can't leave it like this.
Well, I wonder, I don't know if Akira, like, I don't know if you've seen Akira's game. He made a game called Boyo Ball. I don't know if it's still out there. It's like this little like puzzle game where you like bounce a ball. But I don't know if he's like still looking to get in, if he's still looking to get into game dev or in game dev at all anywhere. So I'm sure making music for once. Okay. Oh, that's one of the things I think, I don't know if I've ever told him. I keep like thinking about it and then not doing it. Hold on, let me on my following page on Twitch, there's like the upcoming streams where people can schedule their streams or whatever. Akira has one every Sunday. Like I think he scheduled it for Sunday one time,
Huh?
but didn't know it was gonna like
Hey, did you
repeat.
guys hear
and then has never turned it off and hasn't streamed like in at least a year, maybe more. And so it's like every Sunday that shows up there, and I go to look at my following page, and it's like upcoming stream Akira on Sunday. I'm like, yeah, right. I remember the first time I noticed it, I was like, oh, Akira's streaming this Sunday, and so I was like planning to watch it, and then it came and went, and I was like, oh, I wonder if, like, I was gonna ask him like, hey, what happened? But then the next one showed up, and I was like, oh, well, at first I think I was like, maybe he rescheduled, so I was like, okay, well, I'll watch it next weekend. And then the next weekend came and went, and I was like, oh, it's probably just automatic. Like, he probably said it one time or was planning to do Sunday streams like that, and then just abandoned it, and then never shut it off. So now it shows up every week. Well, I guess I was saying, yeah, I don't know. I haven't, like, I know he still, like, program, like, he does, like, he was developing, I don't know, like, the last time I talked to him about, like, development, I forgot to kill those wolves up there. He was developing for some kind of, like, learning, like, kids learning software or something like that. But I haven't talked to him, like, every time I talk to him about work, or every time I've talked to him since, it's always been just like band stuff, like drum corps or high school band stuff. So I don't know how much programming he does anymore, or if he even like wants to make a game again or get into game dev. Sounds neat. I know when he talked about it, he was complaining because they hired him after someone else had already built a lot of it, and so, but they didn't have any, like, he didn't have any contact with the guy who was working on it. So he basically had to, like, learn, like, figure out what this guy was trying to do and doing and how he was doing it, and then, like, not rebuild it, but, like, you know, do whatever they wanted, but also kind of, like, rebuild it so that it worked the way he wanted it to get to where they wanted it.
I'm the girl with the gall.
But I remember him talking about it paying pretty well. But I think it wasn't like, it was just like a, what do you call it? Like contracted job or something. I don't know what it's called. But it was just like he got hired to do the job, and then once it was done, it was done. Okay, let me do this. I've been running around this Furanis thing and not actually activating it, and I've been complaining about not seeing one of these. I mean, I guess I activated it, but I didn't, you know, use the ether furnace thing. One of the circles of hell. Man, at your own code after a while. I mean, I like the same stuff happens in just like IT, where like you come up with a system and you get stuff going, and you know, like, you get all your networking done, and then later on you're like, I should have done this like a different way, and now you have to like undo a lot of work and redo it, and it makes it really hard because sometimes it's gonna like take people down. Like what? So one of the things is I mean, I wasn't there for the original. So whatever, we had a print server, like a server for printers, and then they got a new one, and so they migrated all these printers to this new one. But they didn't do all the work to, like, I don't know, they didn't do all the work. And so that was one of my most recent kind of like projects, is like getting it all updated. And looking at all the old stuff, I'm like, man, like they did this so poorly. like what I'm doing now is making it so much better, but like it's like that thing of like, I mean, I guess it's like the same thing of like what I was talking about with Akira, just like you come in and the last guy who touched it, like, you don't know what he was thinking or why he did it this way, and so you kind of have to like fix it, and then, you know, do more work on top of that. And so like it's like, man, but like I was saying, like, part of the problem is as you're doing it, like as I was doing it, I was getting some calls from people like, hey, my printer doesn't work anymore, and I'm like, oh, whoops. And then I have to like go in and look at it and be like, what did I do that like broke their printer? And it's like, oh, I just loaded the wrong drivers or something. But like a lot of times when we do this kind of work, like maintenance and stuff like that, is always after hours so that you don't disturb anybody, so you don't like shut people down. Endless cycle, yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm sure the next guy who looks at the thing that I did is gonna be like, what was this guy thinking? And like, you know, do it his way. That's like, yeah, that's like always the frustrating part is like, you come in and you take over. Like I'm taking over. I'm the only IT guy. Like we have another guy, but he's out for medical leave, and he came back last week. He did like, he worked for like 2 days, and then he's like, today we have a Monday meeting every week where we just kind of like go over our open tickets and, you know, talk about why they're still open or whatever, and then you know, talk to each other about like, oh, you know, this is how you do that. You know, you can close that now, or you can, you know, do this and that and get it closed or whatever. It's just like a little sit down to like review what we got going on. But yeah, this morning, like me and the contractor, because my supervisor is on vacation, we were the only ones in the call, but we sat there for like 45 minutes waiting for this other guy to show up, because we were expecting him to show up, and then he didn't show up, and then we just like had the meeting ourselves. And then after the meeting was over, the contractor called that guy, but he didn't answer. Well, he called him before the meeting, and he didn't answer, and he left a message. And then after the meeting, he called again, and then he didn't answer. And then this afternoon, like around like 4 p.m., he called again, and the dude finally answered. And then the contractor called me back and said, "Oh yeah, he's got surgery this week, so he's gonna be out for 2 weeks." And I was like, "Oh,
Time for a nice
well,
big breakfast.
he should tell us." But anyway, I'm the only guy. That guy's supposed to be there, like, as part of the IT team, but he's got all this medical stuff going on, so he hasn't been. And so, like, yeah, like, I came in, and there's, like, all this stuff that is just, like, it's mine now. Like, I don't have to share it with anybody, which is nice, but also, there's no one to share it with, so I have to do everything myself. But, like I was saying, like I've been saying, like we've been talking about here, it's a lot of just, like, what were the people who were here? Like, that guy was here before me, and it's like, what was he doing? Like, I've been, like, looking through some of the documentation he's made, and I'm like, okay, like, I get it, but this kind of sucks, and I have to, like, rewrite it, or, like, update it and adjust it and stuff like that. And then the other thing is, there's only one PC in the IT, like, office, so if he does come back, like, to work in the office instead of remotely, we're gonna have to share it somehow, but it's gonna be mine. I'm not gonna give it up, especially since I got a new mouse. So, like, I talked about it before, but, like, I like the Razer Naga mouse, and then the what's it called, Black Widow keyboard, I don't know, but
Oh,
yeah,
my
Black
plumage is
Widow.
everywhere.
Well, I don't even know what he is. So, like, my chain of command, I guess, I don't know what you would call it in the civilian world, but I have my supervisor and my manager. They're the people who are in charge of me. And then the contractor is the contractor, but he's not really in charge of me, but he's been training me, so I go to him for a lot of stuff, like, how do I do this, how do I do that, like, what do you think, and blah blah blah. And kind of like, he kind of manages me when it's like, I let him know things when it's like, like, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna be leaving early on this day, or I'm coming in late on this day, or whatever, or, I got this going on, so, like, like, I just, like, update him so that he knows, not really, like, because he's managing me, but so that he knows not to, like, try and call me to be like, hey, let's train on something, or to not, or so that he has a heads up, so when someone calls him because they can't reach me, he's not like, where's Rigo, what's he doing? But anyway, this other guy, he's not like, he's like the head of IT or the director of IT or something, but he's only been there for a few months, and he's leaving in like October. So I'm just kind of like, what is this guy doing? Because he's not in my chain, but he is, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like, he should be my manager or something, but he's not. Because my manager is the CFO, which is like, why is the CFO my manager, not the director or head of IT, whatever his title is. But I think it's because it's like an unofficial role and title, because we work for a family. It's a private company, a family. And so he is one of the, sons of the family. And so, or like grandsons. So he just has like all these privileges and stuff like that. Like a lot of the sons and like grandsons and like the family, a lot of the ones who aren't like the
Gotta keep
current
nice
parents,
and
because it was founded by one guy, but he passed away. But he had kids who now run it. But his kids are now like the oldest ones, like they're the parents, I guess, and they have their own kids who are all, they're like trying to like, you know, keep it like a family business, right, or whatever, keep it run and owned by the family. But like a lot of the kids seem like they don't, they're literally like just handed these jobs as like a technicality so that they can get a paycheck. They can get these millions of dollars without like the government being like, hey, you can't just give money away like that. And so it seems like this guy that I'm talking about, the director of IT, head of IT, I don't even know, like I was saying, I don't know what his official title is because it's nowhere on anything. He used to be in construction, and then he just, I don't know, they just gave him IT. You want that money, dude? I want that money. So that's what I was gonna get to, is like he came to me, like he comes to me all the time, like that's what I was saying. It's like it's frustrating because he's not in my like chain, but he is like technically or somehow, you know, the lead of it all anyway. So like he gets to come to me because I'm IT and be like, hey, you know, do this, do that. He doesn't really like boss me around, but he'll like bring stuff to me and be like, hey, can you get this done? And it's like, yeah, sure. And it kind of has to like take priority because he's the family. But anyway, they have all this money, and so like he's just constantly like throwing money at stuff. Like his solution to everything is throw money at it. Like I think I talked about this recently, but we were having this licensing issue where we had these new guys who we couldn't get them licensed under our organization, and it like ended up being this whole thing. But his solution was buy more licenses, just buy 2 new licenses for these guys. And it's like, the problem is we can't get the licenses to them. We had 3 licenses with like 2 or 3 more that we can free up as well, but we can't attach a license to them. So buying new licenses doesn't solve the problem because we still won't be able to attach them to him. But like that's the way this guy thinks because they're rich. Like they have the money. But the thing is, so I guess like my whole point was, I'm not giving up this desk. I'm not giving up my office and my computer because that guy came to me and was like, what kind of mouse and keyboard do you want? And I was like, oh, the stuff I have is fine. He's like, no, send me what you want, what you use, what you're comfortable with, and I'll get it for you. And I was like, it's kind of expensive. And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to get you what you're comfortable with. And I was like, okay. And so I sent him the mouse and keyboard. I got the not wireless mouse, so it's cheaper. And then the keyboard is the same one, but it's like, the keyboard is like $150 or something. Like, hold on, let me look it up. Let's see. The Razer Black Widow V3, $180. And then the mouse is also like $100, which it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you're just buying a mouse and keyboard for someone in your office, just get them like, you know, one of those like combo mouse keyboard sets that are like $50 and come with one USB dongle. But he was like, tell me what you want. And I was like, all right. And then I told him, and he's like, all right, I got it ordered for you. It'll get here, you know. The mouse came in today. And so, and then the keyboard's supposed to get here next week, I think. Or in a couple weeks. I don't know. He said August 5th or something. But, what was I saying? Oh, right. Like, now that the mouse got here, I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving this. Like, if this other guy comes in and has to, like, work in the office and we have to share it somehow, I'm taking the mouse. I'm unplugging the mouse every time I am not using. Like, every time I don't get to use the PC, I'm taking the mouse. It's my mouse now. Especially when the keyboard comes in. I'm like, those are my peripherals. I will take them with me everywhere I go. But we do have another desk. So, like, I don't think if he comes back, he's going to sit at the other desk. Because, like, we have the IT office, and then there's a desk up kind of by the reception area that is, like, the other IT desk. So, if he comes back, I'm going to be like, you got to sit over there, buddy. I get the office. It's mine now. Especially since okay, so, I don't know, I've talked about it. Like, I was neat for, like, well, I guess I wasn't neat for 8 years, but I didn't have a job for 8 years. I was going to school here and there or whatever, but, once I got out of the Marines, I didn't work a real job. So when I got this job, everyone's been like, oh, well, all the people I've worked with, like the contractor and my supervisor and the IT guy, the director, and then the CFO, they've all been like, wow, like you have like an 8-year gap in your work history, but you're so good at the job. Like they're like constantly surprised that like I'm not a moron or I'm not like inexperienced or whatever. But apparently the other guy, the other IT guy that's supposed to, like the one that I was talking about, he's like on medical leave and all that stuff. He's very inexperienced, and so like if he comes back, like basically I know more and am better at the job than him, so he's not getting this office. Like if he comes back into the office, he's gonna sit at the front desk, because it's my space now. My mouse, my keyboard, my desktop, my office. It's nice having an office too, because like I can't imagine sitting at that desk, because it's out in the open. It's like, it's not a cubicle. I mean, it is a cubicle, but it's not like out in the middle of the floor. It's like I said, there's like the reception area where the receptionist sits, and then you go through the doors, and then right inside the doors there's like a cubicle, or like 2 cubicles, like 2 desks next to each other, with like a gap between them. And one of them is for the security guy, and one of them is like an IT desk. It was there were these contractors that were there in my first 2 weeks, and they sat there, but they have since left the office. Getting all complicated and in the weeds about all this. It's not that serious, but whatever. It is like the other IT desk, so like oh, but the thing is, like, it's like I was saying, it's like out in the open, and so like anyone who comes in through those doors will see the IT guy, or you know, anyone walking by will see that, you know, there's an IT guy there, and they can just like, it makes you more. It's called, well, at least the contractor, he calls getting hey-you'd. He calls it getting hey-you'd, where like, you know, you're just like, someone sees you walk by, or you pass each other in the hallway or something, and they see that you're, you know, out of your office, and they they get your attention, and then they bring up some, you know, problem that they're having. Whereas if you're in your office, people aren't gonna go out of their way to come talk to you. They're gonna like just leave you alone, because they're like, whatever, I'm not gonna go all the way to the office, or you know, he looks like he's busy. Like it I keep my door closed all the time, because it makes people have to like think, like it deters people because they have to think like, is he on the phone, is he busy, you know, his door's closed, so you know, before they knock or something, they have to like reconsider, and then it deters people. Like I've had plenty of people who like knock on my door, and I like turn to look at them, and they have to like, they're like are you on the phone, like do like a little phone thing or like whatever, and I'm like yes or no, and I could be lying. Like I've thought about saying yes sometimes, even though I'm not on the phone, just to make them go away. But it's but then the other thing is like I was saying, just like having your door closed, like I'm sure plenty of people, there was one lady I watched walked by, and then as she was like, because I have like a little window, as she like was like at the edge of the window, like she was like almost like all the way out of view, she like turned and looked at me, and like because I saw someone walk by, and I like glanced over, and we made eye contact, and she like stopped and like stepped back, and then knocked on my knocked on the door, like pointed like, can I come in? And I was like, yeah, come in. So like she was going to just like walk by, but because I looked at her and made eye contact, she was like, oh, he's in there, and he's, you know, we made eye contact so I can, you know, get his attention. But if I wouldn't have looked at her, if I would have just ignored her, I'm sure she would have kept walking. But then yeah, then she like, and like that, like that's the thing, is like, because like if I wouldn't have looked at her, because what she all she wanted, she's like, hey, can I get a new mouse? And I was like, sure. Like what? Well, like I brought out all the mice that I have, and I was like, which one do you want? She's like, well, I have one that's like all of these. Can I get a new mouse? And I was like, well, she said, can I get an ergonomic mouse? And I was like, what does that mean? Like I know what ergonomic means, but like what kind? Because like you could type in ergonomic mouse, and there's like a billion different designs. And she's like, well, I just want something that's like not like what you have there. And I was like, well, if you can find something, send me the link, I'll try to get it ordered. And she did. But like that's the thing, is like it's such a like that's a hey you thing, because it's not like necessary. She doesn't need a new mouse, she just wants a new mouse. So it's like she wouldn't normally bother me with that. Like she never called or emailed or anything. She was just like looking for an opportunity to see me to like bring it up, if that makes sense. But anyway, the office, I'm not giving it up. The point is,
I'm getting peckish.
I'm the
Do you have any
IT guy.
snacks?
It's my office now.
Huh. There we go.
I don't even know how I got all the way over here from. I guess I asked about your game, and then now I'm talking about the psychological warfare of working in an office. I want these CP boosts, but the only one I have is like this one. I don't want collectibles though. Makes sense. It's so weird though.
Charged up and ready for rolls.
I've talked about it a few times, but like the environment's so weird. I mean, it's not that weird, it's just
Oh,
everyone and everything is
that's a
so
real
laid
one.
back. I was talking about it at the beginning of my stream, but like people, like when they have an issue, they just like save it, and then excuse me. It's like that thing like I was just talking about of like hey you, but like they have like an issue, and then instead of putting in a ticket or sending an email or calling me, they just save it for when they see me. And sometimes they don't see me for like a while, and then they get another issue, and like they just build them up, and then when they see me, they're like, hey, I have this issue. And then I'm like, okay, let's take a look. And then as I'm taking a look, they're like, also I have this issue and this issue and this issue. And it's like, why didn't you just tell me like as they came up? But I guess like part of the problem is because I'm trying to make myself not as approachable, so they don't just come up to me. But I just don't want them to talk to me. I don't want them to like interact with me in person. You can send an email or put in a ticket or call me anytime. But they don't. They save them up. Like even my manager, like I was talking about this earlier,
What should we get?
wait, what's the, I don't want to sell my collectibles because I like to like turn them in. She was like, hey, you know, let's sit down and talk about like I had like my training review, my 30-day review with my supervisor and the contractor, because he's training me, and they're just like, yeah, you're doing a really good job. We have literally nothing bad to say, nothing to even tell you, nothing to even improve on. And I'm like, well, that sucks, because like, I mean, it's good, but like, I don't know, I feel like I want to know where I can improve. But if I'm doing everything good, then I guess that's a good thing. But like, it feels weird to get feedback and there's no feedback. The feedback is just like, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. And it's like, okay, I guess I'll keep doing what I'm doing. But my manager, it was so annoying though, because like my manager was like, they sat down with me, my supervisor and the contractor, and then they went to my manager to be like, hey, we sat down with him, do you want to sit down with him? And she's like, nah, I'm not gonna sit, like, I want to keep this as informal as possible. I'll just, you know, if you guys are handling it, it's good. And then like at the end of that week, she was like, hey, actually, let's sit down next week, or at the next week. So that was on like a Thursday or a Friday, and then Monday she was like, hey, actually, I want to sit down with you, can we talk this Friday? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she, like, as we were talking about that, she was like, also, like, because yeah, she's like, I actually want to sit down and you know, have our own little review, and then also I have a few IT issues that I need help with that we'll talk about at the same time. And I was like, okay. And in my head I was like, why not just tell me now, or like put in tickets or send me an email or something? But whatever. But that was my first thought, and I was like, oh, maybe it's like something bigger, like something, you know, more than just like, oh, you know, can you help me map my printer or something? Maybe it's like
This was a nice
more like a broader thing of like, what do you think we should be doing for this in IT? Like should we, you know, implement something like this, or what should we change? But anyway, then like Friday came and we sat and talked, and then after we were done doing like the review, she was like, okay, now for the IT stuff. And she was like, I can't log into this, and I can't log into that, and I can't access this, and I can't access that. And I was like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it was all like, it was like 5 minutes. It was like 5 minutes to fix those. There was one issue that I couldn't figure out that I was like, I'll have to like look into this. But the other things were just like super easy to fix that I was like, she's been sitting on this for at least a week. And like she could have just called or sent an email or put in a ticket, and I would have taken care of it like instantly. Like it was just like, why do these people like, that's what I guess like that was the thing, is like, why do these people just like, it's such a weird environment, because like when doing this job in the Marines, like if someone had a problem, they called or like, you know, put in a ticket like immediately, because everyone's trying to, like, if you can't work, you can't work, and so you're gonna get in trouble, or you're gonna be less productive, and so you're gonna, you want to get it fixed. But here it's like people are like, cool, I have an excuse to not work, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're actually thinking like that, but it is like people are just like, I have an issue and I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm just gonna save it. So I'm gonna bombard him with like 5 things at once, and it's like, because that's actually that happened today. There was one guy, he couldn't log into OneDrive, and I was like, it was so annoying, because like I was like, okay, did you try your Microsoft 365 password? And he's like, well, he said he couldn't remember what his password was. And I was like, well, it should be whatever you use to log into like Outlook and the whole like 365 suite, like Microsoft 365 app like suite or whatever. And he was like, I don't remember what he said. He's like, no, I think it's a different password. And I was like, no, it should be the same. And he's like, well, I have it written down here and it's not working. And I was like, okay, well then the only thing we can do is reset your password, but that's gonna log you out of Outlook and all those other things, and so you'll have to relog in with the new password. And he's like, well, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well then we have to figure, like in my head I was like, then you can't use it. Like, either we reset your password or you remember your password. There's no other option. There's no like, I can't just like break into OneDrive for you or something. Like, what do you, these are your options. But I couldn't say it like that, because it's like there's a whole customer service aspect to all of this. But I was like, well, if you want to keep trying passwords, then we can keep doing that. And he was like, well, let me try this password. And he he opened up a notebook. This was over the phone, but he was like, the way he described it was like, well, let me look at my book and see if I have other passwords that I can try. And he's like, I'm gonna try my Microsoft password. And in my head I was like, that's what I said in the first place, that's what I told him to do in the first place. And then it worked, and I was like, well, there you go. And I was like, and I even said, I was like, yeah, see, that's what I was pretty sure it was gonna be your Outlook and Microsoft 365 password. And he's like, yeah, but I didn't think it was that. And in my head I was like, I told you it was that, though. I know what I'm talking about, dude. But I was like, yeah, no, they're all attached to the same account, so they all use the same password. He's like, all right, let me write that down. And so I guess he wrote down that OneDrive is also attached to that. What's up, Aiko? He showed up just in time for me to, I'm not gonna wrap up right now, but I'm probably only gonna go for like another 20 or so minutes. I'm just running around this area as I talk about dumb work stuff. But yeah, this guy, I guess whatever, he put in he sent an email just so saying I can't log into OneDrive. But then when I called him and we fixed his OneDrive, he's like, also I can't get TeamViewer to work anymore, which is the app we use for remoting into stuff. And I was like, all right, can you try opening it so I can remote into your computer, because that's what we use to remote in. This guy, I think he works in the state. We have people in Texas and Florida, so sometimes I have to I literally cannot just look at their, I can't go to their desk or something, so I have to remote in. But we use this thing called TeamViewer, and it's just a remote software, which I don't know why we use it instead of I don't know, something else, because we have we have Teams and things like that. I guess it's because it lets us remote in and control, but I don't know, I'm just wondering, we have other software that kind of, it doesn't do the same stuff as TeamViewer, but whatever. Anyway,
Monster just knocked some fruit off that tree.
wait, what? Oh, cool! I didn't know they did that. What was I saying? Oh, whatever. This guy, yeah, he's like, my TeamViewer, you know, when I open it, it has, like, it's just like a little white box, and it doesn't actually let me do anything, and it doesn't actually ever load. And I was like, alright, well, the thing is, like, I was like, I can't remote in and see TeamViewer if TeamViewer isn't working, but I was like, yeah, try opening it, and he's like, yep, it's doing the same thing. And I was like, okay, go to, like, the TeamViewer website and download Quick Support, which is, like, just like a small, oh, that's that tree. It's like TeamViewer, but it has less capabilities, but it lets people remote into you at least. I love it when she says that. But whatever, I was like, yeah, download Quick Support and then see if that works, and it worked, and so I was able to remote in, and then I opened up TeamViewer from there, and it was like, you already have TeamViewer running because we had Quick Support running. Oh, oh, it scared me. I thought something was happening. I thought there was like a dam broken. There was gonna be a rush of water. Almost fell.
A supply drop.
Where did it go? Oh, unless it's down here? Well, that wouldn't make sense. That's so annoying. The supply dropped and now it's missing. Wait. Cooked and spatchcocked a whole chicken. I don't know what spatchcocking is. Made a sauce. First time cooking raw chicken, which you refused to cook before. Why? Oh, I see the supply drop now. But anyway, whatever. This guy, I'm not saying anyway, whatever to you, Aiko. I'm just trying to like reset what I'm talking about so that I don't go off on this TeamViewer thing. But whatever. The point is, he sent the email about OneDrive, and then when I got on the phone with him, he's like, oh, by the way, TeamViewer doesn't work anymore. Also, Teams opens every time I start my laptop, and I don't want it to do that anymore. Also, Dropbox doesn't work anymore. And I'm like, bro, like every time someone has an issue, like they send an email or put in a ticket for one thing, and then I call them and like, oh, by the way, here's 5 other things I have that I've just been sitting on. And it's like, okay, well, let's do them all now. And it took an hour to deal with this guy's stuff. And that's like, but that's my point. Is like, instead of, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, like whatever, it's like one solid hour just working with one person, which like kind of like takes up all my time. And if other people come in, it's like, sorry, I'm working with this person already because they have like 30 other things I got to do with them still. So can you submit a ticket or send me an email so I can keep track of it later? Because as I was working with this guy, this lady came to the door, and I was like, sorry, I'm on the phone. And she was like, oh, okay, just come see me at my desk when you're free. And I was like, okay. And then someone put in a ticket in the middle of working with this guy, and I was like, man, I can't get to any of these things because I'm locked up with this guy. Spatchcocking is where you cut the ribs at the spine to flatten a bird out. Cooks faster. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I just didn't know that's what it was called. Okay, I gotta go to this thing instead of walking. Oh, I should. Alright, I'm gonna swim through that so I can fill out that. Maybe not. There's a big fish in the sky, and the fish looks big over there. But I don't think it's like high enough level to aggro me. Anyway, a lot of stuff is pretty easy at least. And like I was saying, and like I keep saying, I'm good at the job. So it's not like, I don't know. None of these things are actually like too bad and stump me too hard. I mean, I wasn't able to get the guy's Dropbox stuff fixed, but everything else was fixed. And like I said, when I was talking to my manager, it was the same thing of like, I did everything except one thing, because it was just like something I'd never encountered before. The Dropbox thing was weird because like, I don't know, I gotta look into it more, but like the problem was, it just won't install. Like, I don't remember what he said at the beginning, but he was saying he was having issues with Dropbox, so he uninstalled it and then went to reinstall it, and now it won't install. And I was like, and that's what I took a look. That's when I took a look, and that's like that was like that's part of what my problem is that I was saying is like, I appreciate that they try to solve the issue on their own, but because he uninstalled Dropbox, reinstalling it now is giving all this trouble. Because the problem is it won't install. Like, you download the installer, you set it to run, and it I don't know if I've done this fight before. It downloads, and then once it finishes downloading, it just starts downloading over again. Okay, I've done this one. And it's like really bad because you can't reinstall it. It just like gets stuck in this loop of downloading, like downloading the installer where it downloads, finishes downloading, and then just immediately starts over. Like the window doesn't even close and open up again. It just like it fills up and then restarts. And I asked him, I was like, how many times have you seen this like do this? Like how long have you left it running to like loop? Because I was like, maybe it's downloading separate things each time. And he's like, oh, I left it like running for like 2 hours yesterday, and it looped like 4 or 5 times. And I was like, okay, so it's probably not downloading a bunch of different parts or something like that. It's just like stuck in this weird loop. And I couldn't, yeah, I was like, I don't know, I can't, there's nothing I can really do here, so I'll have to like look into it and I'll get back to you later. And he was like, oh yeah, that's fine, like it's not a big deal. Because like I also like usually, or like always, if I can't get them, like if I can't solve their problem, I get them like a temporary solution. So we ended up installing Dropbox Lite, and I told him, like I showed him, like you can also do it through your browser. You can just like access Dropbox. So like you don't have the app, which is like, you know, a little bit easier to work with, but you still have access to Dropbox and all that stuff, and you can still do what you want. It's just a little more tedious and a little bit slower, but you can still do it. So you can do, you know, do as much as you want here and there, you know, get the important stuff taken care of as I like look into the issue and figure it out. But anyway, the point is, if he would have just called me when he was having issues with Dropbox, I probably could have figured out whatever it was, so he wouldn't have reinstalled it and made it worse. Or uninstalled it to try and reinstall it and made it worse. But instead, he, like everyone else, is like, oh, I have this issue, so instead of calling the help desk, I'm just gonna hang on to it or try to fix it myself, and then make things worse, or just save it up with 5 other things so that when I finally do call the help desk for something completely unrelated. What is happening to this guy? Why was he doing that? That's kind of cool. He was like electrified. I thought he was gonna get struck by lightning, but I think it was like charging itself or something. Also, I like the way these things look. Their faces look kind of dopey, but I like that they're like, I guess they're not giraffes, they're like deer or something. But they have like fish. They're like fish. Anyway, this guy tripped. I don't know. I don't want to talk about work anymore. I spent like half an hour just now, at least. A Pipito. Where's it going? Oh, I think it's gonna disappear. I think when these things do their little exclamation point, they're running to disappear.
What's that? This looked handy dandy.
Oh, it did leave something though. Flamethyst.
Hey, great. Wonder what it's like inside.
I don't want to talk about work anymore, but I was gonna say more work stuff. I don't know. Basically, I don't know. I like the job. It's easy. Like I was saying, a lot of the issues that people come to me with are easy to solve. It's just like some of them take a while, or like time consuming. And then so like when people come to me with like 3+ things, sometimes it does just like take an hour out of my day to help them get all of them dealt with. But it's, oh, I guess like what I was talking about that got me there was just the environment so weird, because it is like that. Like I was saying, comparing it to the Marines was just, we're just like,
Don't mind if I do.
being down is a big deal, So they get, you know, people come to you with their problem right away. It's so weird that like so many people are content to just sit on issues. Like I think I talked about it before. This lady, her printer stopped working, and she just didn't say anything for 2 months, and then she finally was like, "Hey," like I was helping her with something else. She's like, "By the way, my printer, I know this is gonna sound, you know, like ridiculous or whatever, but it hasn't been working for 2 months." And I was like, 2 months? And she's like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal because there's another printer, so I just never really, you know, brought it up because I have access to another printer. But I was wondering if you could take a look at it and get it fixed." And I was like, "Okay." And then I ended up taking a look at it, but whatever. It's just like stuff like that though. People are like, "Yeah, you know, by the way, there's this problem I've been having for, you know, 2 months or a month or a week or whatever, and I just haven't said anything about it until now that I'm talking to you about something completely unrelated. So can you help me fix this thing?" And I'm just like, man, so you just not that you haven't been working, but you just like completely given up this, you know, function because you just didn't want to call me or send an email. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, like part of me was thinking that people don't trust me because I'm new, so they're like, I'm not gonna talk to that guy because like he's not gonna be able to help me. But I feel like I've proven myself enough, because I was actually talking to the contractor that I work with earlier about this, because he was talking about a specific user, and he was like, yeah, you know, when she showed up, we actually kind of messed up a lot of her accounts and stuff like that, so she kind of doesn't like IT. And I was like, yeah, I kind of got that vibe from her when I first started working with her, but the most recent time I talked to her, she seemed to be like a lot more
I'm gonna end up
like
a walking sandcastle.
confident in my ability. Like she seemed to trust me, because like when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, that explains her attitude in the first place. But I was like, but yeah, I don't know, the most recent time I talked to her, she was like not like that anymore. She was way more friendly and like came to me with the issue, like, and was just, you know, very accommodating in a way that she wasn't before. So I was like, she probably trusts me now. Cool biscuits. Oh, he's going to the castle.
Oh, so that's how they're doing.
This whole quest, I could have been walking here the whole time I was talking about that. I was expecting it to be like a whole thing. Literally, we go over here and he's like, okay, I'll go home. Like, there was nothing. I want to get this body if I can. Probably can't. Unless there's something to climb now.
Look, Kevis and Agnes are beefing.
Beefing. Man, this stupid Pokemon Sleep. I was talking about this earlier when Honda was here, and I guess I talked about it in my last stream too. But I've been playing Pokemon Sleep, because it's like just a sleep tracking app with a little bit of gameplay. You feed a Snorlax, you check on your Pokemon, but like it's making me actually like obey my bedtime. Like I set it to be, my bedtime is 1 a.m. and like every time, you know, it gets like around midnight and close to 1 a.m. I'm just like, I'm tired, I want to go to sleep. When like even on work days, like after having started this job, I'm like, I try to go to sleep at a reasonable hour so I don't, you know, stay up till 5 in the morning and then get up at 6. But I try to go to sleep at reasonable hours, and I still wake up in the middle of the night at like, you know, 3 or 4 a.m. and then I'm just like, I can't sleep. So then I just like, you know, watch stuff until I can fall back asleep or until I have to go to work. But this Pokemon Sleep app has actually like motivated me to sleep more. So it's like it gets close to my bedtime and I'm like I get sleepy, and then when I go to sleep, when I wake up, I'm like, go back to sleep, and then I go back to sleep, and then it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird that it's actually like, it's a stupid little Pokemon app, a sleep tracker, and it's actually making me get better sleep. I was wondering, I was like, oh wait, maybe that was weird. Why does the screen was like vibrating, like right here, it's like rumbling. I think it's just the way this hill is, because I thought that big old dinosaur over there, where was it? I thought it was that guy walking and his footsteps were like shaking the ground, because you can hear his footsteps and they vibrate the controller when you get close enough. Also, why am I running? Why do I keep walking? I want to fill this in though. Oh well. I want to finish this quest. I kind of want to do the other quests in this area too before I call it for the night, just so I have all the quests knocked out. Not all of them, but if you sleep for 80 hours straight, you unlock the ultra secret Easter egg. Let me try that. Okay, I'm dying. Dude, I hate the tanks in this game. Okay. I don't know. All the other games have the same issue, but like, I feel like there's always less enemies. Like smaller fights in 1 and 2, so like aggro isn't as big of an issue. But like, this game is really annoying with like, tanks have always been bad at aggroing in all the games, in my opinion, in my experience. But it's like worse in this game. It's at its worst. Because I have 2 tanks, but they don't, there's no, I don't know, it seems like there's no like AoE aggro thing, or at least not yet, I don't know, or it sucks. I was gonna talk about, you were saying that 80 hours for the secret Easter egg. I don't think there's anything, like the only thing sleeping, like there's a limit of 8.5 hours of sleep per day. Oh. I wasn't even looking for, I was just like collecting items. Was she trying to get him killed? Or was she hiding from them? Okay, she was hiding. Hold on, I'll talk about Pokemon Sleep in a second. That quest was so like, I guess it's just kind of showing the depression that every Officer has to go through or something. But nothing happened. He was trying to leave and was kind of suicidal. Like he was like, yeah, if I die, at least I'll die alone. And then we go and just say, hey, you know, your friend's looking for you. He's like, all right, fine, I'll go home. And then we get back and he's like, hey, Moraine, I'm back. And she's like, let's go home. And he's like, let's go home. And that's it. Sleep 80 hours and they'll send you a real life Eevee, dude. I would do that in a heartbeat. That's one of the things I was complaining about. Is like, I don't have an Eevee yet. During the tutorial, Eevee showed up. And I don't know if Eevee shows up for everyone's tutorial, but I got Eevee, and then because it's the tutorial, it makes you feed certain Pokemon. Like it's like, oh, feed the Pikachu or feed the Rattata or whatever. So I couldn't feed the Eevee, which is how you catch them basically. You feed them and they become your friend. But ever since then, I haven't been able to get another Eevee to spawn, which has been really annoying. Wait, do I have another quest? I think I have one more quest before I head towards this one. 42. I might be able to do it. Oh, it's back that other way. But yeah, so you sleep, or 8.5 hours is the most you can get credit for in a night. Or in a day, because you can break up your sleep however you want. Oh. I don't think I can. Maybe I can go over there. I don't know. I feel like there's probably enemies too high. But yeah, so you can, if you sleep more than 8.5 hours in a day, whether you break it up into like, 2 hours here, 6.5 there, or whatever, you don't earn anything. You don't earn more points.
The great swords come into view.
So like, what, 58.5 times 7, 56, 210, 3, so 59.5 hours a week is the most you can get credit for. So 80 hours. But maybe that's the thing, is like they want you to sleep 80 hours so that you can that's why it's a secret. It's because they lie to you.
I guess this is fate too, huh?
Feta me out in real life, he attacks you. Ever seen a frog splash? It hurts. Wait, what's a frog splash? Is that like something cats do? I know they do like the bunny kick or whatever. Okay, I'm underleveled. I'm not trying this. I think I can get to like level, what am I at? 39, 38. I'm able to get to 39, or I think I can get to 39 if I spend whatever experience I have left over. Probably not actually, because I've only done one quest. So I'll probably have to do this one later. Not like that much later, but not right now. Oh, wrestling move. Oh, it's the one where they jump off the turnbuckle. Or yeah, off a high spot. I like that move. I actually forgot, like, that's what it was called. Every time I would play like a wrestling game when I was younger and make a character, I would give him that move. And the Hurricane Rana, pretty much everything off of a turnbuckle or like the ropes, like jumping off the ropes. Cause those are cool. Rey Mysterio was my favorite, well, one of my favorite wrestlers when I used to watch wrestling. I want to go to it because I can run past all the enemies, or try to, but I know once I do that, I'm gonna have to do the quest and run into enemies anyway. So let me just go. Yeah, that's all the side quests. At least all the side quests I can do right now, or want to do right now.
Looks like we're all done.
So I'm gonna go to where the main quest is before the cutscene starts.
I hope it made them happy. I hope it made them happy. Looks like we're all done. I hope it made them happy.
Wrestling games are fun, like play modes where you can book the shows
We got it
or just
all.
play like a career. Yeah, I like I don't know, I always like the career modes.
We got it all. As
But also like, I don't know, it's like I mean, I guess a lot of people do this, but the other thing of like, just like, I guess it's probably like what you're talking about, like booking shows or whatever, but like, you just like, well, we used to like create a bunch of characters and then just make them fight each other. I hate these quests that like, I complete them and they still have like the stupid little dot, like I never looked at them, and it's like, bro, I did the whole quest. You don't have to like highlight it anymore. What was I saying? Oh, whatever. Yeah, like you make a bunch of characters, or you just take like actual wrestlers and you put them all. You let the AI control it all, and you watch it like you're watching wrestling. But it's more fun when you make the characters too. Okay, guys, can somebody kill this thing so it doesn't kill me? Oops, wrong button. Oh, they're killing it.
I'll patch you up. Just bear with me.
We could have killed that. Oh, I missed. Oh no, I've been to this camp. What was it? I know like a lot of VTubers have been doing that, or at least did that with the new, whatever the new WWE game was or is. They just like made a bunch of other VTubers and then had like tournaments where they let the AI run it. Like I think Selen Tatsuki from Niji Sanji did something like that with like a few other VTubers. But I know Hololive also did something like that. Like Pecora did something, I think. Maybe she just made her own character and then like played through the game or whatever. Regular booking type gameplay. When you play, you become the #1 contender for every belt. You need to lose more. Yeah, you gotta make those storylines, or else nobody wants to watch. They don't want to watch some guy win everything. They want to see him lose and struggle, and they want the drama.
Is that what I think it is?
This looks handy dandy.
Oh, that reminds me. I saw something. I saw it on Twitter this weekend. I think, like Saturday or something. I don't. It's some dude at AEW. I don't know. I'd never seen him before. I didn't know who he was, but it was just like this clip of this guy in the ring taking his boots off and leaving them in the ring, and then like leaving. And there's like two guys standing outside who are like trying to stop him, and it seemed like this like serious moment, like he was actually quitting or something. And I was like, I tried to look into it, and apparently, I don't know. It is like, what I read was he lost that match and then did that, and nobody knew if it was like
Don't mind if I do.
legit or not. Like everyone was caught by surprise, like, oh, what? Like it seemed so sudden, and it seemed like so like he, yeah, like I don't, kind of like him basically saying like, I'm done, I lost, I'm done. And not like part of a storyline or something like that. Not like, what's the word? A work, I guess. I don't know.
Let's just sneak a peek.
Just trying to think of wrestling terminology.
Is this like a rare thing? Should we go here first?
Okay. I said I was gonna go to the main quest, and then I went and did a bunch of item collecting. I like Manana's face. Dude, everyone's so good in this game. All the, like, the crew, the party. I think at first I thought there was too many of them, but now I don't want to give up any of them. Oh, I thought it would be on the upper part. Work is the right term? Okay. I was gonna say, where's my ladder? Made Napons tolerable? That exactly. I mean, they were tolerable in the first game. Like, they were in Xenoblade 1, Ricky was really good. And then all the other Napons were just like kind of goofy, but they weren't really that annoying or stupid. Annoying. But 2 just like, well, Future Connected, the expansion for 1, that was kind of where it started, and I was like, wow, I kind of hate Napons now. Like, the party members they give you, and now they always say meh, like they start adding meh to everything. I was just like, wow, this is annoying. And then and then going to 2, which came out before that expansion came out. I was like, oh, I see. They started it here and then they put it in that expansion, but like, it's really annoying. Like, they ruined Napons. Like, Napons weren't like, you know, the best thing ever, but they weren't bad. They were like fun little comic relief things, but then they killed it in 2 and just made them extremely obnoxious, because there's all the stuff with Banna and Tora, and like, yeah, I don't know, they just made Napons extremely cringy and annoying. And then they fixed it here. Like, they were like, okay, we messed up into, like, I don't know, there's so much stuff that like in this game feels like a reaction to 2. Like, they were like, all right, we don't know what we were doing there, so we're gonna fix it. We're gonna go back to 1, closer to 1, make Napons less annoying and cringy, and make the cast less annoying and cringy. Get good voice acting again, because the voice acting in 1 is good. The voice acting in 2 is bad, and it's like, what? Like 2, I don't know. Like, when I think about 2 compared to this game and 1, it's like, what happened? It's so different than both 1 and 3, and it's just like, why? What did they like? I'm like, was it the trends of the time that they were like, you know, anime is hot right now, let's go super hard into anime and fan service and all that, and mascot characters are meant to be extremely obnoxious and annoying, so let's ruin Napons. And like, I don't know, it's just like, what was going on at the time that they're like, this is the direction we want to take Xenoblade? And then, you know, what about it made them say like, you know what, never mind, let's go back to the way 1 was? Because people like 2, like, it, a lot of people like, I mean, 2 is, I mean,
Hey, did you guys hear something?
from what I've seen, 2 is the most divisive of the 3 games. But like, it's got like the people who like 2 really, really, really like 2, in a way that I always think, like, I don't know, whenever I see someone say 2 is their favorite game or call it peak and all that, I'm just like, have you played other video games? Because like, 2 is really good. I liked it a lot, but I don't know if I would call it peak, especially with the way they ruined the ending and the credits and all that stuff. Like, they kind of ruin a lot of their really good moments throughout the entire game in a way that like keeps me from saying, like if they didn't ruin all the good moments, I would be inclined to agree that it is peak. But because every good moment has to be ruined by some stupid fan servicey thing, or like attempt at humor, or just like dumb, like the credits, the ending and the credits, like the post credits stuff that ruins the ending, is just like, you had it, like, it was perfect. Wait, oh, a few dramas, but is it out now? I remember seeing that they were doing another season. Man, I know, man, it's really annoying, man, dude. I love Napons again, because they still say it, like Riku, or yeah, Riku and Manana, they say meh, but they use it way more sparingly, and they're way more likable, so it's not
This is something decent, right?
it's not as annoying. But what else was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. I like this game more than 2 already. Like, I'm like halfway through, I think, and I can confidently say I like this game more than 2. And 1, I guess, because I liked 2 more than 1. Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've been going back and forth on that, but I feel like this will end up being my favorite. First episode's out on Hulu. Cool. That's the only like streaming service I have an active subscription to right now. I'm not gonna watch it right now, but I might watch it when I'm done. Actually, I don't know if I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tomorrow night, because I'm not going to stream tomorrow night, so I'll have, like, all night to do whatever I want. Because once I'm done here, which I'm actually going to wrap up right now, I'm going to eat a pastry and then go to sleep. And I don't want to watch it as I'm eating my pastry and falling asleep, because then I won't actually watch it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I like this game a lot, and I'm glad. Like I was just saying, I'm glad it's more 1 and less 2. Like the whole crew, this whole cast is like so
Every day's a training day.
good. I don't know. Like 2's cast is really good. Like I would say everyone in 2 is good except Rex and Tora. Like I like Rex still. Like I don't like Tora. I do like Rex. It's just his voice acting is so bad, and he's so kind of like, I don't know. Like he has good moments, and like that's the thing is like I was saying, there's good moments and then they ruin them. It's like, I don't know, but like, and with Rex they ruin him with his voice acting. But this game, literally everyone is just like good. Even Riku and Manana. Manana is like, I would say she's like the worst of the group, but she's not bad. She's just like my least favorite out of everyone. And that's because she's closer to the 2 Nappan, where she's like almost purely comic relief and all that. But she's cute, and it's like, it works because she's like comic relief and like tension relief, I guess, because she's like innocent. Not because, you know, she's a moron and like obnoxious. She's just, I don't know, innocent. Like her outlook on everything and all that, it's good. And then Riku is just like, he's actually kind of cool. Even though his hair looks stupid, he's really cool, and I like him a lot. And then, yeah, like I was saying, everyone else is really good. And Taion, I was like, I was thinking Taion was going to be like my least favorite character and the most annoying, and he's kind of my favorite. I like Noah a lot too. And I like Mio. Mio's best girl, but she's not as close to my favorite as I thought she would be. Like she even has the advantage of being a cat girl. But like, I don't know. I was gonna say, I think I like Nia more than Mio, but I kind of like, I don't know. I like Mio's voice a lot more. Well, not even a lot more than Nia's. Like, they're both really good. I don't know, it's hard. They're both, I don't know, the best girls of their games. I guess Nia's in this game too, so she might be the best girl of this game. But Mio, I don't know, she has a lot going. I just feel like she hasn't been or done much yet. Because it's like, a lot of it is the Noah show. Like Brock, but short. If he closed his eyes. You know you don't trust her, leave her alone. She hasn't done anything. If anything, she's done more to make herself seem trustworthy. I was talking about this earlier, but I really like the outfit she has. Why is everyone trying to walk off the cliff? Oh. Alright, I'm going down here. Oh, I'm gonna die from this.
I should have done more.
It didn't look that far when I was looking at that corpse. No, it's gonna take me back. Alright, I gotta walk all the way back now. This will be the wrap up. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm not gonna stream tomorrow because I have to go have dinner with my brother because he's in town. And I don't know, like that shit. I don't know. I think we're going to dinner around like 5:30 or 6 or something. Because I'm riding to work with my mom. Like we're carpooling so that we don't have to take separate cars to dinner because we're just gonna go after work. But I probably want to go back to like 7 or 8, and then I won't want to stream because I'll be tired. But I should be back Wednesday. Like I was saying, as long as like I don't know, like I'm streaming tonight, and so like I mean, this same thing happened last week where it's like I streamed Monday, and then I didn't stream Tuesday because I just didn't feel like it, and then Wednesday and Thursday and Friday were just like I had stuff going on at night, or like Friday I was just like exhausted from the day, so I didn't stream. But like as long as nothing comes up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be streaming the rest of the week. That was the thing. Is like last week I was like, all right, now I can stream during the week. And then it's like, oh yeah, hey, you want this new car? It's like, let me look into it. And then the very next day, hey, let's go get that new car. It's like, okay. And then Friday was so, I don't even, dude, I hated Friday. It was just so busy and so exhausting, like physically exhausting. Like I talked about it on Saturday, but it was just, I was literally running back and forth, like literally running. And also when I wasn't running, I was walking very fast back and forth across the entire building, and it was just like physically exhausting for like 3 hours straight. Like just like didn't get to, I got in at 8, like 7:55. I clocked in at like 7:55 and got up by like 8 o'clock and was doing stuff, and then I didn't sit down again until like 10:45, and then as soon as I sat down I had to get up again, and it was just like I didn't get to do anything until like actual lunch, like 12 lunch. Like I didn't get to sit down and actually look at my PC until noon, and then the rest of the afternoon was a lot slower, but like I was just so tired. And then yeah, like I said, I got that new car. Then when I came home from work, I had to like do some work on it. Not really like work on it, but I had to like pop open the center console to fix my aux port, which like took like half an hour because it was just like uncooperative, and I got all dirty and sweaty because I was outside in the sun. Well, I wasn't in the sun, but it was hot outside, and I was in my car, but the sun was out, making it hot. And so by the time I was done with that and showered up and everything, it was like 7:30, and I was like, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. And then I wake up till 10. Wait, I actually didn't think you were gonna cook. Your father was like, oh, he got you ingredients and told you to cook. That's what I tell my family. Like they'll like ask me, they're like, hey, you know, when are you gonna make make some kind of like dessert or something? And I'm like, if you guys get the ingredients, I'll make you whatever you want. And then they don't get the ingredients, and then I'm like, well, then I'm not gonna make the thing, because they'll be like, oh, you should make this, or can you make this, or whatever. And I'm like, if you want to buy the ingredients, like they'll ask me to make macarons or something, and I'm like, if you buy the ingredients, I'll make them. Because it's not that they're like super expensive to make, but when you buy the ingredients, like you're buying, you can't just like buy enough to make one batch of macarons. You have to buy, a big old bag of whatever and this and that. And so like the numbers add up, and I'm not gonna pay for it. If they're asking me to make it, I want to put in, I have to make it, so I have to give up my time for that, time and effort. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, I won't be here tomorrow, but I should be back Wednesday and the rest of the week with more of this. And Wednesday we'll actually progress the main story. Tonight I was planning on just doing side quests all night, but I also didn't think, I spent a lot of time rambling about random stuff, so I kind of took up some time that could have been put towards seeing what this big old dragon is, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, whatever time it is for you. I'll be back. Goodbye.